I hope you're having a great day. So I wanted to jump on and just give you some updates. I thought we could walk around the farm and just kind of look at what's popping. This has been a weird weather year. I don't know if it has for everybody. I think it's been for a lot of people. It's only March 13th and my tulips are quite a ways out of the ground. The weather has been 60s and 70s. A lot of times in March we get snow. We get very cold weather and it's just been really warm. I did see in the forecast that it's going to get down to 22 for a couple of days. And normally in April when the tulips come up and it's going to get cold, I'm like, they're used to it. You know, I'm not going to worry about it because that's just their life cycle. But with such a weird year this year, and after tulips bud, I don't think you're supposed to let them get below 28 or it can freeze off the buds, and it can also freeze the foliage below 22. So I'm getting a little bit worried and I'm thinking maybe I should put some hoops up so I can put some frost cloth or something over my tulips. I have a lot of subscriptions that are counting on tulips. A lot of people like tulips. So if I just let them go and they freeze and I don't have them, I would feel like I was just kind of lazy about it. Most years I don't feel lazy about it because it is the life cycle of the plant. But this year I'm like, maybe I should try something, and then at least I know that I did my best and I tried with what I had to keep them warm enough to survive, and that way I will be happy with what I've attempted. But let's just take a look at the farm today. First, the daffodils I planted last fall are starting to come up. So I just put them out here. I just tilled this little area. You can kind of see where they end. All of that needs tilled still out there. But they are coming up. This is March 15th. It's insane that they're even that high. And the rows aren't completely straight. But I'm hoping that these just multiply every year and kind of fill this space. And then we can just mow it because they can come up in the grass. And then, you know, you mow afterwards and it should be good. So there's quite a bit of daffodils. Ooh, I think I forgot about this area. So I do have, these are my bachelor buttons and I have not cleaned them up, which I don't know why. I think I just forgot about them. Usually they reseed and start coming back up. I'm not seeing any life. I see some weeds, but not a whole lot of life with daffodils. This also needs cleaned up. Over here, we are getting some life. That's verbena. That's a weed, but this is verbena. Here's a better look. That's verbena. So I need to come in here, clean up all this dead stuff, and let the verbena plants come to life. And this is blue sea holly, which is also coming to life. Since it is going to get down to 22, maybe I'll leave this stuff just to keep it warm and clean it up next week. But it does look like some things are popping. This is all my new planting area this year that I need to get tilled. It's already growing grass. I almost wonder if I should go ahead and till it once and then till it again, because I don't want that grass to get real tall. And it's starting to get kind of tall before I till it. And if I till it now, I can till it under and maybe it'll grow a little bit more. But then I could till it before I put my zinnias and sunflowers and my snapdragons in. That's kind of what the plan is. Uh-oh, I have one little piece of cardboard out of place. It doesn't look like these plants are really waking up yet. So hopefully they wake up. Those are all my proven winter plants that I planted last year. They didn't really do that great. So I'm wondering if they're going to do good in this area or not. This one has some color. So it does need, it looks like its roots have gotten exposed though. Put some mulch around you, little plant. It's weird. It's almost like something maybe tried to pull that out of the ground. look over here and see if anything is. Makeshift bridge. This is where I planted in the fall. I planted a whole bunch of seeds. Just random perennial seeds all in here. And I figured if worst came to worst, we could just mow it. It does look like I have patches of some seedlings growing. I have some yarrow, it looks like, and I did throw some yarrow in here. I also threw things like frosted explosion grass and things that just took over my garden last year. I was like, I'm gonna throw them out here where I can come out and mow it, you know, if it takes over or if it's crazy, or maybe I can just pick it among the tall grasses and weeds. So it looks like I do have some stuff going up. I don't know if these are like all weeds. It looks pretty heavy and it's all in one row, so I have a feeling it's one of my plants, so that might be a surprise here in a little bit. But it looks like there are some things popping even though it's only March 15th, so that's exciting. And then I did see that I was getting peony buds, but look at these weeds already taking over my peony holes. It's just crazy to me that many weeds pop up. But if you look down here, my peony buds are already popping out of the ground, and it's like that. Here's some more, but they're already coming up. March 13th, got peonies coming out of the ground. That's insane. And then we'll come over here and see if anything is coming up. It's a lot of weeds coming up already. Like, what's up with that? Ooh. So it looks like some of my delphinium is coming up already. Let's see if we get down here real close. Yep, there's larkspur coming up. So I should have larkspur and delphinium. And then over here is my yarrow row. And it does look like little patches of yarrow. This was kind of grass last year, so I'm hoping opening it up will kind of get rid of that. Yay! And then up here, my yarrow gets a little thicker and they're more established plants. And look at this. I've already got weeds and dandelions growing in this mulch that I just put down 2 weeks ago. So yeah, that's not gonna work. But here's a bunch of yarrow starting. It's good to see that there's some plants coming back. I also have yarrow in this row. Never have too much yarrow. Yay. So that's exciting. And then if I keep coming up, I mean, this whole row has yarrow in it. If I step over the yarrow row, this row is salvia, so it comes up later in the season. And then this is lupine, which you can tell it's came up, it's gotten frozen, but it's still pushing up brand new growth everywhere. So I have a few of my lupine plants coming back, so that's good. Ooh, these are a lot bigger. I'm hoping this year, without the black landscape fabric, all of these plants can get bigger and do what they naturally do instead of being kind of smothered out by that landscape fabric. We will see. And then up here, I did clean up like my blue sea holly. It's coming back. That's a weed. That's a weed. That's like blue sea holly. And then all my allium. So you can see they've definitely suffered from the cold, but then they push new growth and new leaves. But these are all the new allium I put out this year. So they're starting to pop out of the ground. And my original allium were all down in this row along here. So I see maybe a couple popping out. A lot of these are daffodils though that are popping out. Like this is a daffodil I put a lot of daffodils in here. I'm actually not seeing my original allium popping out of the ground yet. Which is odd because all the allium I planted, oh, here's an original. Maybe it's popping out. But there should be allium all along this row here. And I'm just not even seeing those yet. And those are the ones that have been here. So maybe they're in the proper life cycle. But it does look like the daffodils are starting to pop. And then I planted a bunch of iris and a few lilies in this area here. I did find out though deer love lilies, so there's some allium that I planted last year. So maybe the allium that I had in the past, I don't know, maybe it was too dry. It's been really dry. We've been in a severe drought. It's possible that maybe some of it dried out, or maybe it's just taking longer to come up. You can see the deer plant tracks here, which is where I put my lilies. I didn't know, but the deer love lilies, so I may not have any lilies. But the daffodils are coming up, and they've already got these. I mean, they could be ready to pick. They might be ready to pick soon. This is a crazy, crazy year. I'm going into my 4th year of flower farming, and I just haven't gone through this yet. And honestly, when I think back in life, and maybe because I wasn't farming, I didn't notice it, I really think this is just a really strange year. I don't remember it being so nice in March. Like a lot of times they say, you know, if March comes in cold and wintry, it goes out nice. But if it comes in nice, it goes out really like snowy and cold and horrible. Well, it's just been nice all March. So, and it doesn't look like the weather is getting any worse for wear anytime soon. Okay, now let's come up here. So in the fall, I planted around this little gate. So in the fall, I planted on both sides of this gate, but only one side is coming up. So I don't know what's up with that. Maybe the sun, but I mean, they're pretty similar, other than the bars of the gate shading some of that. I believe I put irises and daffodils in here. To go back and look at my notes on that. But if I come up here, these are daffodils that have been at the farm, like for years and years and years. They've always been at the farm. And look how much more. They're just a lot further along. This daffodil is actually ready to pick and put in a vase. Oh no, it's March 15th and that daffodil is ready to pick and put in a vase. That would be the stage. See how its neck is just kind of bent like that? And then it's kind of soft. This one actually you could probably pick too. This, it might even be a better one if you were going to store it in a cooler. But if I pick that one and this one, these aren't quite ready. You can kind of see because it gets the crook in the neck. I can't believe this though. Like this one is perfect for the picking and storing. It's like, do I pick it and store it? I mean, I can't give one daffodil to people. And none of my other daffodils are ready, so maybe I'll just leave those. Those have been coming up forever. Let's go look at the peonies that have been on the farm for over 100 years. Maybe they're popping up. Carrying around this cardboard because I found it in the ditch and it's just trash. Oh yeah, they're coming up. So these are the peonies that have been at the farm for 100 years. And this tree just grew up, I think, in between them. Like, I think that was supposed to be a peony patch, and then that tree just grew up in it. So yeah, there's definitely some stuff popping at the farm on March 13th. Weirdest year in my life that I can remember. There's a bunch of naked ladies popping up. Those have just been at the farm forever. They're not a good cut flower. And then let's come over here and look at my tulips. My tulips that weren't supposed to be coming up until April. So there they are. And I did a video. I'll pop some of it up. I tried to put some status in and see if it would take the weather not being in a hoop house and not being protected, and it can't. It's all dead. So I'm trying something a little off this year. I'll flip you around here. So I think my stock is a little bit stressed out. And while it smells absolutely wonderful, it should not be blooming in the tray. And the crazy thing is the root systems don't even look that crazy. Like, let me see if I can just pull one of these out. Like, it's not like it's real root bound or anything else, but I don't want it blooming in my basement. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a half tray of, I have 6 total trays of stock. So I'm taking a half tray of these 3 varieties and I'm putting them in the ground right in between my tulips because there's plenty of room for walking. So we still have a lot of cold weather. I mean, it could freeze, it could snow, it could do a lot of things, but I have never had any luck with stock. Like, I never get any flowers out of it because by the time I get it in, it ends up being 70 or 90 degrees. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to put it in the ground when it's cold. I see a bunch of people do it in hoop houses and I know that they're protected, but I don't have a hoop house. So I'm going to try a couple methods. I'm going to try this where I put it directly in the ground. It's 50 degrees out today. It's supposed to be 50 or 60 all week. It's supposed to rain the next 2 days. But at night it does get down till I think the lowest is 28 for the next 7 days. But I'm just going to see. I mean, I never get flowers anyway. I start it every year because I love the scent of it, and I'm just gonna see if I can get some stock. I'm gonna take the other half of these trays and I'm gonna try to put them in containers and put them in here. But that will require a lot more watering and I need to not forget them. So I might even take them back home and do that and put them under grow lights. I haven't decided yet, but it's a test, and if you follow along, you'll find out how it goes. Okay, and I put about 36 plants in one of these, and I have it in my little grow house, in my little cold frame. So we'll see how those do. Those are a lot closer together, but I want to see how they do. I just have to remember to come and water them. So that was a failed attempt. Look at it. It's just dead. And I did water it. It looks dry, but I was watering it and then it was dead, so I quit watering it. So that's why it looks so dry, but I was watering it every day. And then the tulips, some of the leaves are looking a little rough and maybe chewed on. Something's getting in my fence. This isn't the way I normally do a fence, and maybe I'll regret that. But this is what I'm thinking. Right now, I'm not really seeing buds. It's still leaves. But some of these are tall. I mean, they're probably 6 inches tall already. And then some of them, of course, are a little bit shorter. Look at these. Oh my god. These are so pretty to look at. Aren't those leaves gorgeous? Ugh. These are my favorite. Those are my favorite leaves. I don't believe that. But look at some of these monsters. And I'm not so sure. I don't know if that's a leaf. I don't know. These are the big apricot. And see, that's still just a leaf. Even though like in here it looks like just a tip of red, but you can kind of see that they're opening up and they're just a leaf still. So there aren't any buds. And so normally they say the foliage of a plant can withstand the cold temperatures, and it's only if the buds are coming out that it can't. I did read online that anything below 28 can actually kill the foliage on a tulip as well. But I'm wondering if that's true. Because I know last year they came out of the ground even in April and it still got colder. So I'm not real sure how true that is. But at the same time, when you've promised a lot of product to other people, you kind of feel like, man, maybe I should do something to protect it so that I know I did everything I could. But then you also don't want to waste a lot of your own time because there's a lot going on. There's a lot you need to do. And you kind of want to know if from year to year, like me, I'm in it 4 years. Maybe in 10 years, I'll be like, let them go. They'll be fine because I'll have learned. But at this point, I'm tempted to put row covers maybe over 2/3 of them and let 1/3 of them just be what they are. And then if I lose them, I lose them and I learn a valuable lesson because 1/3 of them will be a lot, but I'd still have enough to make all of my promises fulfilled. So here's the yarrow I planted last year in here. And then all of the garlic is coming up. I love garlic. It's awesome. So I'm gonna go in here. I probably need to water these. So I put that status in the field, and then I also took some status and I put it in here. But look, something's been digging and something's been eating my status off, but it didn't get all of them. It's kind of leaning, you can see it's leaning towards the sun. That's why I think if I want to get this so that it's like greenhousey, not just in this window. But yeah, it definitely looks like something's been in here. It's been digging. It's been eating the tops of some of my status. But some of them look really good in here still. So the outside conditions, it just died. In here, it's okay, but it looks like maybe the mice eat the tops off. But then they only ate a few and then they didn't bother it, so they must not have liked it, or they'd eat more, or maybe they're just eating a little bit every night and saving themselves some dinner. I don't know. But these are just tests I'm doing. Stock. Did I just say status through my entire video? It's stock. Okay, so my stock, I have plenty of stock at home, and every year I try stock. And every year I see all these flower farmers and they put their stock in their hoop house, and I don't have a hoop house. So I've been trying to say, okay, can I get stock to grow? Well, my stock is now flowering under my grow lights at home. So I obviously started it and now it's flowering at home under grow lights, but they're just tiny flowers. They're not the big, beautiful stock. So I do think that stock probably needs a hoop house, especially since these are staying alive in here. They're just probably not getting enough sun. And the ones out there in the weather died. I do think probably a hoop house. That's why everybody puts them in a hoop house, because they survive in a hoop house and otherwise they don't. So I have tried in years to put them out in April. and it always gets just way too hot, way too fast every year. And I get a few blooms, but they're not great, and the weather gets up into 75 or 80 and the plants just don't do as well. So I just haven't had good luck with stock. I do see, you know, everybody puts their stock out in their hoop houses around this time of year or even earlier, and they have this beautiful stock. So maybe I need a hoop house, and then it's like, well, do I need a hoop house? Is it worth it to grow stock and ranunculus and an anemone? I haven't had any luck with any of those plants, and those are plants that everyone seems to always have a hoop house. So, but then you see some people that say they've never owned a hoop house in their life and they've been a successful flower farmer. And so it's like, okay, is a hoop house worth those 3 flowers? I don't know. So we will see. But I did come out here the other day and I took my little single plow and I just got my tractor running. The air conditioner works, everything's ready to go. I hooked up my tiller, I'm all ready to till with it. And I just made some little furrows out here so that it'd be easier to till when it came time. I can't get my tractor under that power line, so I need to take it off. They did finally get the pole done in front of the house, and they unhooked the electric to this pole over here. So now to get these lines off, none of them have power going to them, so I just have to figure out how I can get them off. I'm probably gonna have to take it off that building. That's where the huge beehive is, so I'm gonna have to wait until it's like 40 degrees and the bees are not active, because they've been very active. But this was the big burn pile, so I went through here. I tried to pick out all the big logs. I still see a few that I probably missed that I don't want to get stuck in my tiller. And I got all of the stumps pulled out, I think. I mean, there's some like little ones like that. I don't know that they would mess with the tiller or not. But I think I have this area all kind of to a point where I can till it, and hopefully I can till it and smooth it out. And then this is kind of nice. I did notice like that building, it kind of blocks the morning sun. You can see like the shade. It looks like the roses are out of the shade right now, which it's 10. So they probably were in the shade until about 10, and they're like that most days, so they don't get any early morning sun. But out here, I think we'll get early morning sun, and then there's nothing blocking it from the afternoon sun. So I think this could potentially be a really good area for getting optimal sunlight for flowers. So I'm thinking of putting some lisianthus and snapdragons out here this year and trying it and seeing how they do. I might have to get more than one deer fence. That one, I plan on using the electrical part on my fence down there after the tulips are done, because I don't plant any of that stuff until about May, and by then the tulips should be done. But I might have to get one more and do another electrical fence up here. I don't know yet, but I am planning on making all of this tillable planting area. And if I don't plant it, I'm gonna try to smooth it out with a rake after I till it, because this area has been really rough to mow anyway. There's like a big hump here and a big hill. So kind of smooth it out and just make it better. And then maybe like map out how I want this to be. So, yay. So that's another. So I added on down there and I added on up here, and I'm guessing I'm up to around 2 acres that I can plant in, but that number will go down because I am going to make bigger walkways this year, so then it won't be as big a planting. And here's where the beehive is. You can see they're already starting to be pretty active today. It's a big honeybee hive. And then I think that's about it. My lisianthus have been pretty small this year. Some of them are big, but they're getting bigger. I did try some different series of lisianthus, so I'm keep hoping that they keep coming along. My basement's been getting hotter than normal. I usually can open up the window in March and it keeps it at 65 to 70. The other day I was in there and it was 79, which is really too warm for the stage that my Lysianthus are at. I hope it doesn't stunt their growing. You don't really want them to get above 75. But unless I turn on my air conditioning at home in March, they just are gonna get a little too hot. Again, it does cool down. I'll throw up a picture here of what the weather's supposed to be like this year. But I do have my tractor all ready. My tiller's all hooked up. So all I gotta do is raise this and take off, put it down and start tilling when I'm ready. I thought of doing that today, but I think I'm gonna maybe get a sledgehammer and get some hoops in the ground and try to save a few tulips if I need to. There aren't any buds out yet, so I think I'll be good. But how sad would I be if it got down to 22 degrees and all of a sudden all of my tulip leaves became mush and didn't regenerate the plant and didn't allow the bud to pop up. I would be so sad. I don't think that's gonna happen though. Is anyone else like this where there's wishy-washy and you're like, I don't know. I mean, last year I just let them go. I didn't even worry about it because it was the right time of year. It was April. And in April, I feel safer because it's the normal time. Like March isn't the normal time of year for tulips to be 6 inches out of the ground. Or allium. You can see like their leaves are suffering, but that doesn't mean they're bloom well. It's all just a guessing game. I'll take you up here and show you they got this pole all done. Looks so much nicer. There's a brand new pole at the road. And then this pole is holding all the electricity that goes to the house into the garage. And then they just removed the line that went over to that pole. So now that pole can all get taken down and all the wires around the gardens will be gone. So I won't be hitting them with my tractor anymore. But anyway, that's what I'm up to today. I wanted to jump on. One, I wanted to show you what I tried with my status. And it was a fail. Although it is working in that cold frame. And I do think if the other half of that cold frame roof was like a greenhouse top, I bet you I could grow stuff in there. You can tell I wasn't planning on putting hoops. So when you have something over the hoops, that would be a huge... I couldn't get through them. So, but at this point, I probably only have something through them at night, and then I could lift it up and remove them so I could weave in and out of the hoops. And it would keep them safe. So I might go ahead with it and just, because I have to put a bunch of stakes in the ground. I can't just stick them in the ground like they are. I'm just doing that so that I can see where to put the stakes, because then the hoops fit easier over the stakes if you know how wide the hoop is. So I mean, it's just kind of a thing. Some of them are probably going to get lost. It might save some of them. We're just going to have to see. I might be tripping. It won't be the first time. And I probably won't do that row. But it has my favorite tulips in it. I love those variegated leaves with the purple stripes. Maybe I should do that row and not this row. But this row has my big apricot. I don't want to lose any tulips. I need to 4-foot some tulips. I should 4-foot that back row. It was one of those 500 mixed bulbs in a crate. So they're not as pretty. They were a lot cheaper. They would be worth not losing. It's pretty much the end of that row and that row back there that has those in it. But that row actually fits just fine with the hoops. It's really these rows over here that don't fit as good. Actually, I changed my mind because I can't put a hoop up like it'd be right in the middle of my other tulips if I work my way that way. So what I'm gonna do is do a row on those tulips, these tulips, and those tulips, and then there will be this row. And it actually might be somewhat protected because of these two rows. I might be able to throw a frost cloth over it and protect them in the middle of them. So I think I'll try to do it that way. That's what I'm gonna go for. So now I'll just get to it. All right, I got them up. I got a little wonky towards the end there. It's not that straight, but I'm not that worried about it. And I have one hoop that looks like it's higher than the rest. I think it'll be fine. All I need to be able to do is cover these without the cloth touching them, because if the cloth touches them, I found that the claws and stuff tend to freeze faster, and then when they freeze to the leaves, they definitely destroy things. So I've got my hoops up. So I should be able to put cloth over them and then put my ties down, and hopefully I could keep them a little bit warmer than they are. I also do have an extra piece of greenhouse plastic that I probably could put over one of them. I'm going back and forth if I should do that or not, because if you see here, I have plenty of room. Like the tulips are just down part of it. So I really could put Lisianthus or any of my cool season flowers. I could just take them to the side of them and use the hoops and put them in there. So having the hoops up is probably a good thing, because then I can go ahead and do that with my cool season flowers while I'm getting my warm season flowers ready. So who knows? Maybe it'll all work out in the end. Even if I lose my tulips, I'll have my hoops up and I can plant other things under them. So that part's done. I'm gonna put my tools away. I need to get a tarp on my mower because I took my mower off so that I could put my tiller on, and now it's supposed to rain. Okay, so I think I'm gonna cover the gearbox with this. And then see if my tarp will fit over the rest. Hopefully that protects everything important. So it shouldn't be out here too long anyway. This evening, I think around 12 a.m. So I need to make sure to do that, and then maybe I'll work a little bit on getting the cloth and everything on here. But of course I'd want to keep it off to the side or tie it down for now, because the days are still really nice. And then that way, if it was going to get cold, I can come out here and within a matter of 30 minutes have everything covered. So I think that took about 2 hours. Probably because I'm very out of shape and I had to stop to breathe a few times. I did use the post hole driver, but it was too long, so it would hit the ground. But I went ahead and used it on all of them, and then I only had to hit the sledgehammer on the rest of them like 2 or 3 times instead of like 11 or 12. So that saved quite a bit of my energy, and I was able to get this finished up. So I'm gonna get to these other things, and then I'll give you a progress status update. Okay, so this is pretty much what I'm gonna do for all 3 of these rows. And then I don't know about this last row, and it covers some of the rows at the end as well. But I didn't want to do them all and then show you, because it's like 70 degrees today and I don't want these heating up a whole bunch. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that down, put it to the side, and do the other 3 and just have them ready for the colder temps. All right, that's awesome. I got all my frost cloth ready. I did come up short on 2 of these rows, but that's okay. I have plenty of frost cloth, so I'll probably just drape another piece over these last 2 rows. They're just like a little bit too short, too much air would come in, but I think I can just handle that at the time the majority of the work is done. So on those really cold nights, I can come out here, I can put it up, tack it down, and feel maybe a little bit better about things. I didn't try the greenhouse plastic. I might still do that sometime, I don't know. But another thing that's good about this is I do have spaces I can put some lisianthus and some snapdragons. So my first succession of those I can put up here, and then I'll probably put the rest of it out in the field in the deer fence. But I feel more confident after about May 15th, May 16th, I feel more confident. If I know like the 10-day forecast, even around May 10th, if the 10-day forecast is all warm weather, I feel a lot more confident putting things out in the field and not worrying about frost cloth. But for now, this can be the place where if I'm not confident, maybe I'll stick a few different varieties along the tulips and just go from there. So I'm glad I got that project done. I got my mower covered for the rain. I don't know. I want to till, but it's supposed to rain, so then I won't be able to till for like days, but maybe I shouldn't till yet anyway. There's not really any reason to. But anyway, that's what I'm up to on the farm. I hope everybody's having a great day, and I hope to see you in the next one.